Hey guys, today we're going to be taking a look at some new gear from Air. In this video we're going to be checking out their City Tote and a brand new Dopp kit. And it's been interesting to see how popular totes have become as of late. Never really used too much of them throughout my life, but over the past year or so I've actually gotten a few that I've had a chance to test out. And although it's not my favorite way to carry my stuff, I can definitely see why people have started to gravitate towards it. There's just a lot of practicality. And then Dopp kits, that's something I've always been a huge fan of. Air already makes some of the best in the game, and so it was interesting to see a new design from them. I was very excited to have a chance to check both of these out over the past couple of weeks, and in this video I'm going to be talking about my experience using them. I'll show you how I've loaded them out, walk through all the features, and I'll also talk about how they compare to some of the other similar items that are currently on the market. Before jumping into the video, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny, and on this channel we love reviewing popular travel and everyday carry gear. If you like these types of videos and you'd be interested in seeing more, please consider subscribing as it helps the channel out a lot. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Starting off with the outside of the tote bag, the aesthetic here reminds me of many of Air's other products, so it's got a very modern, techy, kind of sleek vibe. It's a versatile look that with any other products really works well across a number of environments, whether you're just walking around the city, traveling, or taking this into the office. As far as the materials, the tote bag feels really solidly built. This exterior fabric is a 1680D ballistic nylon, which I've used on many of Air's other products. It's always held up really well. It can handle rougher usage. It also provides a nice amount of weather resistance. And then you have YKK zippers all throughout. Continuing along the outside of the bag, the first thing you'll notice is that it does stand up fairly well on its own, depending on how everything is loaded out, and if some of the items shift, it can tend to tip a little bit in one direction or the other, but for the most part, it's been consistent as far as being able to place this down next to me to access all of the compartments that we'll talk about later in the video. On the outside, I was happy to see that you have two external water bottle pockets. These offer a pretty good amount of space. There's not a ton of elasticity, so the volume that they have is kind of what you get, but it was able to hold the 20-ounce water bottle that I typically have with me. That fits in there pretty comfortably, especially if the main area isn't super packed out. Anything larger than this might start to feel a little bit tight since it doesn't have that elasticity, but with the amount of space that's offered here, still really good for a water bottle or maybe for an umbrella if you need to carry something like that. Along the outside of the bag, kind of on the corners, you have a few attachment points, two on the front and two on the back, which are really great for just hanging on additional accessories with a carabiner. So in one of these, I currently have my hero clip, and I was glad to see that the loop is large enough to be able to handle this bulkier side of the hero clip. And then I also clipped on a little hand sanitizer so that I could access it very quickly. As far as the capacity, the tote bag comes in at about 22 liters, which is typically the size that I like for a daily bag, as it can hold all the items that I want to carry with me without feeling overwhelmingly big. This is similar to some of the other tote bags that I've featured on the channel, and I'm always impressed with how much they can hold due to their more simple layouts and the fact that they're kind of flexible. So good amount of capacity here. It doesn't feel overwhelmingly big when it's more packed out, kind of like a big purse, and it feels like something that I'd be able to carry on to a variety of domestic and international airlines, as well as using it to just kind of jump onto public transit and navigate crowded areas. Taking a look at the handles or straps that you use to carry the tote bag, these are pretty good in length, particularly if you want to wear this on your shoulder. They give you enough space so that it's still comfortable and that you can reach everything that you need to while you're wearing it. This can also work well for just carrying the tote next to you on the side. So, I think that it's pretty comfortable. There's not a ton of padding here. The fabric that's used here feels rugged. It's not going to tear. You also have some good reinforced stitching on the points where it'd be feeling a ton of weight. It might have been nice to have some sort of a kind of more comfy grip near the top, but generally when you pair the two together and you're holding it, I haven't noticed any sort of fatigue. It still feels pretty good. And then they also include this little loop with a snap closure that's going to help just keep everything together when you're carrying it. Jumping into the organizational options, the tote bag keeps things pretty simple. You have a couple of quick access pockets on the exterior. Starting off on the front, you have this one, which has a pretty interesting orientation. It's vertically oriented as opposed to being horizontally oriented. This is something that I noted in my review of Air's Travel Weekender, which is a really great duffel bag. I'll include a link to that in the description below if you want to check it out. It seems like Air has this sort of distinct zipper, which works quite well on their backpacks, which you will tend to stand up. So it's easy to access this compartment, but the orientation on something like a tote bag can be a little bit awkward to use because you're not really standing it up And then you have this zipper that might allow stuff to fall out depending on where it's laid out in the compartment. You do have full access to this whole volume across the face, but it would have been maybe a little bit easier to access if the zipper had been oriented in this way, because you could then be holding the bag, reach down and grab what you need, versus now you're kind of having to remember which side things were on and be careful not to let anything fall out. You do have kind of this lip here at the bottom that will catch smaller items, but still it's not as easy to use as many of Air's other pockets. But with the amount of space that's offered here, you still have a good amount of volume. So I currently have just a little pouch with some EDC and tech items. I tossed in a portable battery. And then I have on the other side just my Apple AirPods. On the back side of the bag, you have another zippered compartment. This one's a little bit smaller and oriented in a way that makes it a lot easier to use. This to me almost feels kind of like a hidden compartment, as it would be rested against your back while you're wearing it or on your side. And it has the perfect amount of space to hold more sensitive items like a wallet or a passport or a small notebook, which is what I currently have there. And then on this side, you also have a luggage pass-through that's going to allow you to rest this on a suitcase while traveling to save some weight on your back. Moving into the main compartment, you have a zippered flap that covers the majority of the opening and helps keep the tote bag closed, but the ends are not covered. That's one thing to note, is that if you have anything delicate on the inside, any electronics, they're going to be exposed to the elements, so that's something that you want to be mindful of when you're heading out with this. I do see some value in leaving these openings depending on your use cases. So I know some people will use tote bags for tennis, and so you'll have the end of the tennis racket kind of hanging out near the opening. So it can be useful depending on what you want to carry, but again, as a water resistant protective bag, then it's going to be a little bit dangerous here if you get caught in heavier rain. And so opening this up to reach into the main area, you just have a really large opening, which is always nice with this style of bag, so you can be grabbing whatever you need. You also have a lighter lining to give you some additional visibility. And then, yeah, the simple layout of totes is what I am a fan of, particularly for bulkier items. If I'm going to the beach, if I'm shopping or anything like that, you can just kind of toss in a bunch of stuff. At the moment, I have a typical kind of daily bag loadout. So diving in, I have my Beats Studio wireless headphones. I have my DJI Mavic Mini. I have a packable rain jacket. And then I also have a tech pouch from TomTalk that I've been using a lot recently. And then now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. Good amount of space. So if you wanted to toss in a packing cube, I suppose you could use this as kind of a minimal travel bag. And then beyond that, it's just a really great kind of companion while you're traveling for holding larger things. And on the inside, you have some good internal organization. So here at the top, you have a zippered compartment that's going to be good for smaller items that you don't want falling all the way down to the bottom of the bag. So at the moment, I have a couple of cables in here, a wall charger for my laptop, my tablet, my phone, and then I also have my Samsung portable hard drive. Below that, you have a couple of larger slip pockets. I'm a big fan of this style of pocket as it's pretty elastic, giving you a good amount of volume even for some bulkier items that you might not typically be able to fit in other bags. I was really impressed with just how much space this actually provides. So in one of these, I tossed in this alpaca organizer pouch that I've been using for some EDC and tech items. And then next to that, I have the new Dopp kit from Air. This is a brand new design, and I like that this is a little more compact than their older Dopp kit. Reminds me kind of their travel kit, which has the ability to hang, and that's one of my favorites, but this one is really interesting in just how slim it manages to get, and I like that it's not super rigid, so I can squeeze into a tighter compartment, but it has the same fabrics that Air is well known for. Ballistic nylon, you have the well-protected AquaGuard zipper on the front, YKK zippers everywhere else. You have a little handle, it's gonna allow you to carry this or hang it up. Simple quick access pocket on the front for any small items that you want to be grabbing quickly. And then you have a zipper that allows the front face to open up pretty flat. And the idea with this Dopp kit is that it's meant to stand up well on its own. And when it's loaded out in a way where it's balanced, it does that pretty consistently well. And so you can just place this next to you when you arrive at your destination, or if you're using this for, kind of a gym bag combo. You can place this next to you. You have a couple of loops for your razor, your toothbrush. Then you have a mesh zippered compartment on the flap for smaller items. Another zippered compartment that doesn't have mesh, so Good for maybe some more sensitive items. You can place some extra cash, some medicines, anything you don't want visible. And then you have a larger slip pocket on the back. So pretty simple layout, but effective. I'm a big fan of simpler and smaller Dopp kits, so this one definitely fits the bill. I also like that you have a little loop on the side, which you can use to stand up your toothbrush. So keeping many of the things that I love about Air's Dopp kits here, just in a more compact and self-standing format that I think works really well. And then on the other side of the main compartment, you have a dedicated tablet and laptop sleeve, and they have this Velcro strap to help keep everything in place while you're on the go. Pretty spacious tablet sleeve compared to many of the others that I've seen across a variety of bags. So this could definitely hold a full-size 10 or 11-inch tablet, maybe even a second laptop if you need to. This is a pretty well padded sleeve. It's not as thin as a regular slip pocket, but it's not quite as rigid as some of the compartments that Air has on their other backpacks. Still feels like your device will be well protected. Currently what I have here is an iPad mini, but again, more than enough space for something bigger. And then on the back, you have a dedicated laptop sleeve. This one feels a little thicker as far as the padding. Still, again, not quite as robust as some of Air's other bags, but nice amount of padding. Definitely will be able to hold up to a 15 or 16-inch laptop comfortably. Currently what I have here is a 13-inch MacBook Air, but plenty of leftover space there. And so pulling my device out, now with the compartment empty, you can get a better look at the inside. It comes up a good amount, so if you happen to have a thicker device, it should be able to fit in there comfortably. The back of this compartment does have a soft fleece lining. Would have been nice to see that on the front as well, but still good to have some extra protection. And the sleeve is pulled up a little bit off the bottom of the ground. I have found that with bags such as this, where they're not very rigid in structure, even though it's pulled up, when you place your bag down, things can kind of shift and squeeze, and your sleeve might still make contact with the ground, but there is a little bit of padding here, so it feels like there's still some protection. And with all the other padding that's included here, it feels like your devices will be safe while you're running around throughout the day or traveling. And then with the compartment a little bit emptier, even though this isn't really meant to be a packable tote, Air has the Go Tote, which is a lot thinner and lighter. This still can get pretty small and easy to put into a larger suitcase or a travel backpack if you want a secondary bag such as this when you arrive at your destination. Even though it's going to take up a little bit of space and weight, it might still be worthwhile, particularly if you like tote bags and you want something that can handle your devices, then that might be worth considering. And in general, just really love the simple layout and the aesthetic of this tote. And if you're looking for something that's durable, spacious, and versatile, then this can be a great option to take a look at. And so to wrap up, it's been a great experience using both of these items over the past couple of weeks. You can currently purchase them on Air's site, and I'll make sure to include links in the description below to the individual product pages if you want to check them out. As far as items that remind me of these, the first one is the Air Go collection, which we featured recently. It was updated and it included a packable backpack, duffel bag, sling bag, and a tote bag. The backpack that's part of that collection is one of my favorite packable bags at the moment, but I was pretty impressed with the tote bag and just, how functional it was, particularly as a secondary bag to pull out at your destination for groceries, for going to the beach or something like that. Pretty similar capacity and sort of aesthetic style to this one. That one's just going to be lighter, thinner, easier to pack into a travel bag. It doesn't have the same level of laptop protection or quite as many organizational options, but still very functional layout that's going to offer a decent amount of space. If you want to save a little bit of weight, then that's going to be a fantastic option to consider. Another bag this made me think of is the Bivy Tote from Troubadour, which is a really good hybrid backpack tote bag. So that one has hideaway straps that you can use when you're carrying a lot of stuff and you want to wear it as a backpack, but it has some really great straps that allow you to carry it very comfortably, have a nice leather wrap on the handle. The bag has a really well protected zipper at the top, so it feels like it's going to offer just a little bit more protection for your stuff. Good laptop protection, has a nice organizational layout. The exterior feels a little more professional looking. I don't know how professional a tote is in general, but if you were looking for a professional tote with a very modern aesthetic, that one's got you covered. Solid build quality, and again, if you're looking for something that has the functionality of a tote, but also provides you the ability to use it as a backpack, then that's gonna be one of the best options to take a look at. And then the last item that I'll mention here is the Moment Travelwear collection, which did include a tote bag. I featured that on the channel a while back. It's recently been updated and I haven't had a chance to use the newer version of it, but I was pretty impressed with the functionality of the original tote bag. It had a pretty subdued, minimal aesthetic, not quite as maybe modern and techie looking as this, so almost Evergoods-ish. If they had made a tote, that's kind of what I would think it would look like. Still just plenty of space in it. It had a dedicated laptop sleeve that wasn't quite as protective as the one on this one, but still a really great organizational layout. Very durable, you know, nice tote straps to allow you to wear it on your shoulder or carry it. One of the cool things about that one is that Moment has their own ecosystem of accessories that are meant to pair with the tote bag to allow you to use it for camera gear, to make it a little bit easier to access and protect your stuff. So just a really nice, durable tote. And if you're looking for something like this with a slightly different aesthetic or with some of the modular accessories that Moment has to offer, then that's gonna be a great option to consider. With that being said, the Air City Tote and Dopp kit hold up really well against items from all those companies that I mentioned, and if you're looking for versatile, durable accessories that are going to work well for organizing and carrying all the things that you might need on your day-to-day or for a trip, these are going to be some really great options to consider. And I'm definitely curious to hear what you all think of the City Tote and the new Dopp kit and how they compare to some of the other totes and Dopp kits that are currently on the market, and if there's any similar options that you think I should check out. As always, please let me know in the comments. And I want to thank the company for sending the items for me to test out, and to you guys for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like, and if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.